this is Matt.
And this is Dave.
And welcome to Vintage Cinema Review.
Where every week we review some of our favorite films from the past.
Hey, there ain't no late fees here. Hey, what's up in the basement here today, guys? What do you got there, Zap?
How's it going, everybody? Well,
all right, man.
I thought today we'd do a classic review of a classic movie, Beetlejuice.
Oh, yeah, I love Beetlejuice. And we actually have another guest down here, our announcer, Shallow.
What's up, Shallow?
Hello. David, my little impish friend, I missed you. Matt, pretty mouth. Oh, no, why are they always wet?
Where's mine?
Oh, you're new. What's your name? Zap? What's your name? Zap. Oh, okay. You look Italian.
I smell Italian.
Stallion.
Yeah, so Beetlejuice, that is a classic, man, 1988. This is rated PG. Hour and 32-minute runtime on this.
The rated PG, like you said, I watched this with my kids. I didn't know that Beetlejuice during the movie, he said the F-U-C-K word. Did you guys notice that?
I only noticed that, swear to God, I only noticed that in my most recent watch through.
I have to say the same thing because I thought it was a kid-friendly movie. Like before you got into that there, I just wanted to say that if you're going to watch this with your kids, make sure you see the one that's on like TV.
Right.
Because I never knew there was a part where he's just like, fuck.
Yeah, he's in the
graveyard.
The mini shrunken land. Yep.
And if you look back, we did earlier review, this would have been after the changeover from PG.
I wanted to ask if that was before the PG-13 and all the rating things came out with the Beetlejuice movie at that. So you answered my question.
Yeah, basically. So Zap, when we were doing, what movie was that? It was just recently we did.
Poltergeist?
It was Gremlins.
Gremlins, that's right, Gremlins.
Yeah, that was the one that, between that was like Indiana Jones.
Yeah, the murder and mayhem in Gremlins.
And the first movie we said was what, Red Dawn? Was that right?
Officially, the first movie released with the PG-13 moniker was Red Dawn.
Was that Patrick Swayze, Red Dawn? The original cast?
He's the Swayziest.
Yeah.
He is.
Jennifer Grey.
Nice.
Baby.
So I don't know, like with the F word, I mean, if that would draw, I guess not. I guess it doesn't matter. I guess the rating board let it slip through or, not sure. But so director on this was Tim Burton, and it was produced by Michael Bender, Larry Wilson, and Richard Hashimoto. I guess there were like three guys on
Hashimoto.
there. Yeah. And release date on this was March 30th, 1988. Budget on this movie, $15 million. Box office was 74.2.
Ow!
Yeah.
Juice was worth the squeeze on that one.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's a box office smash.
Seemed to be a hit. So did any of you guys see this at the theater when it came out, or was it all pretty much?
I don't believe so.
I definitely saw this after the fact.
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Were you aware of Tim Burton at the time?
I
and his
wasn't
work?
aware of anything before 1984.
Okay. All right. Well, this is after. So
Yeah, this is 88.
But yeah, Tim Burton, I guess by then had already did the Pee Wee Herman movie, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so that would have been that. So, yeah. So
I don't think that little kid did that when he molested him.
what are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Didn't Pee Wee Herman molest some little kid and get in trouble for that?
No, he jerked off in a theater.
Same thing.
An adult theater. There's no kids involved. It's not the same thing.
No, it wasn't.
Like
Same
one's
difference.
one's like pedophilia. The other is just like being dirty.
Public. Like, yeah, like Dahmer did. Like out in public, pretty much. Well, not the bad stuff.
He pulled a Dahmer.
Yeah,
Yes.
he did, basically.
Pee Wee's Playhouse.
So Zap, you got the cast there for us.
Yeah, I sure do. So we have Alec Baldwin as Adam Maitland, Gina Davis as Barbara Maitland, Michael Keaton, of course, as Beetlejuice, Jeffrey Jones as Charles Dietz. That's the guy who bought their house. The dead guys.
Oh, okay.
The dead people's house.
Well, actually, he's a pedophiliac.
Stop.
For real?
Yeah.
What?
The dad of the new couple that moved in, Winona Ryder's dad,
For real?
in jail. Yeah. He had child pornography.
We'll have to fact check that.
Yeah, I got
Go ahead and fact check it.
I got to check my
I already
internet on that
checked
one.
Yeah.
I checked the facts, Jax.
Yeah.
We got Catherine O'Hara as Delia Dietz. That's the alleged pedophile actor's wife in the movie. Winona Ryder as Lydia Dietz.
She was great in this.
Oh, she did a great job.
I liked her in this.
Yeah, she's on.
Glenn Shaddix as Otho. Robert Goulet as Maxie Dean. Dick Cavett as Bernard.
Cavett.
Dick Cabot's the man, Holmes.
What a great little insert to have him in there. That's awesome. Sylvia Sidney as Juno. That was the dead people, the Maitland's caseworker.
Oh, yeah, the old lady.
The old lady, that's right. And Annie McEnroe as Jane Butterfield. That was the real estate agent who just kept bothering them about their house.
The Robert Goulet, like I remember him from, I don't know, wasn't he a singer?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I seen him in the movie. I was like, yeah, it's Robert Goulet.
So real quick, back to what I did check this, Matt. And actually, yeah, you're right.
Of course
I just never know.
Why would I say that if I wasn't?
So July 2003, he pled guilty, no contest. He hired get this. This sounds like somebody we know. Well, somebody we just did one on. He hired a 14-year-old boy to pose for sexually explicit photos.
Jesus
Much like our boy Dahmer and that
Look, man,
true crime we just did. That was his MO, was $50.
Pizza.
Basically, yeah.
I was going to bring
delivery.
that. I was going to bring that up during the podcast. I don't know, like you said, you guys didn't know that, but when I was looking at the characters in this movie and I saw him and I read into it on, I guess, Wikipedia,
Right.
and he's convicted pedophiliac.
A not so fun fact, I guess.
Not
that's
so
not
fun
fun at
fact.
all.
No,
It's not fun for the boys.
Not cool.
There's
And
some,
oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was saying he was in quite a few movies too in the 80s.
Well, like I recognize him from Ferris Bueller.
Yeah,
but,
Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He was the principal.
Was he in Spinal Tap?
No, that's the other guy.
the guy looks like him, but that's not him.
he was in Sleepy Hollow.
Yes,
Was he?
He was the Reverend.
Yes, yeah, you're right.
That's funny.
Sure
he plays
was.
a reverend because he
How
was
about-
very unholy.
How about?
Mm-hmm.
There's a few other minor roles. We had also Tony Cox as the preacher. The preacher, this is the little guy that had attempted to wed Beetlejuice to Lydia. You had Jack Angel actually as the voice of that preacher.
Isn't he like a magician, Jack Angel?
That's Chris Angel.
Oh, sorry about that.
That's Dave Copperfield.
Yes.
So you also have Marie Cheatham as Sarah Dean, Susan Kellerman as Grace, who was one of the dinner party guests.
Is that when
Adele,
he did the dance?
yes,
Yes,
correct.
okay.
That's right. When they all had to do a calypso dance.
Calypso. That's what I was looking for.
Adele Lutz as Beryl, who was yet another dinner party guest,
Okay.
and Patrice Martinez as Miss Argentina. That was Juno's receptionist. So Juno again was the Maitland's caseworker, the old lady who was the caseworker for the deceased. This woman, Patrice Martinez, who played Miss Argentina, was her receptionist.
Yeah, okay. I remember.
that was the
her. Yeah,
lady
she had the
that was-
slit wrist.
Yeah.
Correct.
So I could
Yeah.
get these.
That is correct.
Right.
Well done.
So that's it for the cast. Then how about synopsis, Matt?
Yeah.
got
If
a
you guys would like,
synopsis?
a brief synopsis on this movie, Beetlejuice,
And this is what from the back of
the back of
VHS.
the VHS cover.
Nice.
What's a couple of likable, home-loving ghosts to do when their New England home is taken over by trendy New Yorkers? Let's get that Beetlejuice person, they decide. So they contract the Afterlife's freelance bioexorcist to scare off the family. And everyone gets more than he, she, or it bargained for. You'll get more too. More comedy, more scares, more outlandish, gleeful, wanna-see fun than ever. Because Beetlejuice is the name, and laughter, and there hereafter, and for the long, long time to come. Director Tim Burton, who guided Pee Wee Herman in Pee Wee's Big Adventure, now teams with another impressionable talent, Michael Keaton. He's from Night Shift and Mr. Mom.
Yes.
As Beetlejuice, Keaton is a jangled juggernaut of jokes, jolts, and jive. He hits one-liners, spins, and grotesque forms, gobbles insects, and just can't leave the ladies, living or dead, alone. Alec Baldwin, Knots Landing and Married to the Mob, Gina Davis, The Fly, ooh, a great movie, The Accidental Tourist, and more join Keaton in a cast that puts the super in the supernatural spoof. Starring too is the movie's look. Burton and his crew create a fantastically inventive, screw-loose view of the world. And the next you'll see the monsters stalk corpses, wither tentacles, snatch, and an afterlife waiting room, crammed with a goofy ghoul's assortment of the recently deceased. Exercise your right to fun. Say the B word 3 times and get the Beetlejuice person for yourself. You'll have a wonderful day. Oh, day-o.
Nice one, man. Nice. That was a long one. That was a good.
Yeah.
That was
Ooh.
good though.
And thanks for tuning in to the old.
Yeah, man, I tell you, those people that write the back of those VHS tapes, they are witty, just so witty. Day-o. Ooh,
Day-o,
what a
yeah.
great play on words.
It is.
How much do you think they got paid? I mean, that was an actual job back when like VHS. I mean, I guess it's not really a job now. I mean, because you're just scrolling through.
It's promotion. It's marketing. It's whatever.
We say like the marketing department.
For sure.
Okay.
Come up with like, you know, the back cover and try to get you. Because you figure when you went to rent movies, if you didn't
That's all
know,
you did, you turned it
look
right
at
around.
the picture and then you read the back and they got to draw you in. And if it sucks, or if it's not written well, you're probably like, fuck this movie. I'm not going to watch. It's probably no good, you know.
True.
But I think
I'm not waiting at the counter at Blockbuster to hear when those little rentals hit the bottom of the thing. And you hear like, was that it? Was that the movie I wanted? Was that Beetlejuice?
Yeah.
They're like, let me check for you. Oh,
Hoping
no,
and
sorry.
praying.
I would think with Michael Keaton, that would draw people in. I mean, he was pretty well known by this time. Mr. Mom would have been out. And
But I think he only had, I think they said 15 minutes of airtime in this movie.
Yeah, it was,
he wasn't really in the movie very much.
It's actually 14 and a half minutes.
Oh, shit.
That's
crazy.
total on-screen time.
That's crazy.
Yep.
He started out as a comedian, right?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he started out doing stand-up. That's
I
how he
have
got
to fact
his...
check that one.
Did not know that. Yeah.
Stand-up.
It's very
make sense.
possible. Yeah.
I loved him in Gung Ho.
Oh, I forgot about that. About
What
the
a-
car company.
What
yeah.
a great movie, man.
Oh,
That's
who was
just
the other
awesome.
actor in that? Him and there was another big actor in it.
Well, George from John Tortora was in it. So was George Wendt.
George Wendt, yes, from Cheers.
From Cheers. That's right. Norm from Cheers.
Okay. So before we get into talking about the movie, you guys want to kick out some fun facts on this? I think that's what people really enjoy. You guys got anything you want me to start? Or
Go ahead,
got
Dave.
anything there?
Go for it, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
fun
I'm sure-
fact it up.
Yeah, we'll bounce it back and forth.
So one thing that caught my eye, I'm a big fan of these Volvo station wagons. And in the very beginning,
You love the cars. They've always got car facts.
I don't know
for
why.
us.
My wife thinks it's silly that I like station wagons and I like that vintage era Volvos. I
Sure.
just think they're like very cool cars.
You know who had that car when growing up in high school?
I do not.
Mike Z
Oh,
had
your
that
your
Volvo.
cousin?
He had that blue Volvo.
That's right. He had the sedan though,
Yeah.
not the wagon.
Oh, not the wagon.
Yes. I did know somebody had the wagon, but at the time, this is a 1977 Volvo 245 DL. So I'm not sure if that's for diesel or not. But at the time,
diesel would be D.
okay. So in the movie, in the very beginning of the movie, they actually die in a car crash with this car. They go off a bridge, and basically that's how the movie starts. At the time of filming that car, according to what I read here, there was no deaths ever reported
Because it's a Volvo.
to that car.
That's
to
fantastic.
that vintage and that model of car. There were no known deaths. Like
Remember in the 80s and 90s, like the commercials on Volvo, it was always the safest. It's considered the safest vehicle.
We've mentioned, or at least I had brought up, and we discussed in one of our previous podcasts that Volvo was the one who invented the three-point harness.
Yes.
And just gave it away for nothing. It gave it. Like, look, we want people to live, so here goes the three-point harness, everybody.
And gave it out. Yeah.
I remember vividly just the one Volvo commercial where they drove it off of the edge of this thing in the dump. Like, so this thing is like 50 feet in the air, 20, however many feet in the air, and they just drive this Volvo off the end of it, and it just does a header right into the ground and then lands back on its wheels. This thing's crushed. People inside are fine.
No problem
It's
at all.
wonderful.
I remember, didn't they have a lot of commercials?
They
with
started
the crash test dummies and all that
Not
stuff.
the.
Not the band. Well,
Not
one
those
thing
guys.
about Swedish car companies and Volvos from Sweden is, and so is Saab. I actually have a Saab, and they are like known for their safety, like we said. But
Safety standards very high.
over there, because of the are they moose? I guess that are out on the lot. Believe it or not, no, honestly, they have to be able to withstand impact.
Of a moose.
Of a
Moose impact.
I think it's a moose, right?
Could be
Or
elk, reindeer.
I'm sorry,
could be-
elk. It's one of those that not seeing one in person, you don't realize how huge they are. So these cars have to be safe like that. I just thought that was a funny fact.
So it's like on the East Coast here, like since we just hit a lot of deer, like we don't have to be as safe. They're saying they're like smaller.
Right.
Right.
They
Well,
won't
they don't do
damage
as
our
much.
cars
They'll
as
do
much.
damage, but imagine a deer that's like double that size. You know what I mean?
But not for the deer's sake though, but the people inside. Wouldn't
Yeah,
you just have like a
that's
safety standard that just you all have to meet the top safety standard?
You would think, but they really kind of base their cars around
Yeah,
that.
Volvo, very safe.
Yeah, very safe. So long story short,
Volvo, if you're listening,
yeah,
please.
that car in the movie, they die in a car crash.
In a car that never had a reported accident.
That
ever.
never, well, not that didn't have a report, but a reported fatality.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
associated
I meant
with it.
fatality.
Yeah, yeah,
But
but
the fatality, like in the movie, I found it very. I don't think he would have died in that because it kind of just like
I thought that too.
Yeah.
This car falls off this bridge that's 10 feet high, right?
Well, it goes in water. It gets
10,
submerged.
it's 10 feet high.
it does go submerged, but it looked like the water was like 4 feet deep.
Yeah, you can die in 4
I
feet
think.
of water.
Wait, hold on. Dave has something here. He has a fun fact.
no, I was just
Put on the fun
confirming a
fact.
word with Zap because I didn't know what the word necessarily.
So what he was getting at in there is purportedly
Purportedly.
Yes, so that's think of it as allegedly.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Yep.
It's not reportedly, purportedly. Yeah.
Purportedly.
Purportedly, yeah. So I thought that was an interesting fact because that's the first thing that caught my eye was the car. I was like, I love those cars, and then I read that fact.
Yeah, but the car, like Zap and I were just saying, in the accident where they went off the bridge, I thought was pretty crappish. Like, you wouldn't have died from that.
So it's interesting, though. No, so this will go into a lot grander scheme of things that we'll ultimately get into, and that is originally the way that this movie was done. There was a significantly darker tone to this movie, like a ridiculously darker tone,
like a
to this
Tim
movie.
Burton dark tone,
like dark. So by dark, I mean like this was supposed to have been a much more graphic
accident.
Yes, that like that. It was just a longer drowning and like
people screaming,
busted limbs, like a really bad, scary, like sad after they die type thing. Whereas the one we ultimately saw, that everyone ultimately saw, was just okay, it happened.
And that was
it's
it.
Over. Yep.
Yeah, wasn't there something with her hand, like her arm in the original script? There was something where her arm got pinned and broke and shattered and all that.
She mentions it in the movie, but
Right.
you never really notice it. So yeah, as a part of that, thank you for that. As a part of that drowning scene or that car crash scene, she had her arm was pinned. Something bad had happened. She could not get out, and later she complains. So later she was to have complained about her arm's still hurting. That stayed in the movie. Complaining about her arm hurting or saying, oh, why do my arms hurt? Why does my arm hurt? But you don't know why because they cut that part out because they completely, again, rewrote that just to make it far less dark than it originally
That could have
was.
been for the PG rating also. Because, I mean, the things in there, like the supposed to be scary stuff are like pretty Tim Burton cheesy. And he just did Pee-wee's Big Adventure too, which was huge and wanted that same kind of audience drug in.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
Right. So, Shallow, you said you haven't seen this movie in a while, but do you remember liking it, enjoying it? Are you a Tim Burton fan? Do you like?
Yeah, I
his
like
style?
Tim Burton, and I remember seeing Beetlejuice. I mean, anytime it comes on, one of the local channels like TBS or, Sci-Fi, whatever channel, I always catch a little bit of it because it's such an iconic movie.
Right. So one other fact I have here, one of many, I guess, but this was originally to be called House Ghost.
I read that.
Yeah. And then Burton joked around and said, I'm going to call it Scared Sheetless.
That's the two names I have, House Ghosts and Scared Sheetless.
Okay, yeah. So go ahead. You have some more on that.
I mean, there's a ton of stuff. So I guess like back to what I was talking about the original intent to be such a darker, scarier movie. And the writers were later replaced, like completely replaced. So let's say Beetlejuice himself, rather than just scare the Dietzes, the new tenants of the house, rather than just scare them, originally written, he wanted to kill the Dietzes. Like he wanted to kill them, and he only wanted sex from Lydia instead of marrying her.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
so it was gonna be like almost like it was a sexual drive.
Like
then,
so, yeah. So he was a real demon. Like he was
for the
supposed to
Juice
be,
Man. He just wanted the sex time.
Oh, I got you.
Yes,
Right?
Beetlejuice again. Beetlejuice was to be much more of a demonic, scarier, more evil dude than he obviously ended up being in the final cut.
Almost like joking and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, they were saying like he was supposed to be like the age of Beetlejuice, like he was there for forever, kind of like the devil, like he was always just there, and that was like where his
I read something someplace.
evil was.
I read something someplace that there was a thing that was supposed to have included how he had died, and I think it had to do like he somehow hung himself accidentally, not like the Michael Hutchins thing, but somehow, some way, right? Not the guy from the NXS. Somehow, some way, he was trying to do something, or something happened, and he accidentally hung himself, and that's
how he ended up there.
That's how he ended up where he was.
Wow.
But yeah, Beetlejuice, he did like the ladies. I mean, there was he made a little whorehouse pop up.
Sure did.
Yeah,
yeah,
he
for
sure did.
And then they were like, "How'd that get there?" That's the Beetlejuice power.
There was also Lydia was the only Dietz child, and that was actually
Winona.
Winona was the only child, and it was actually Delia's Catherine, played by Catherine O'Hara. That was her stepdaughter in the movie, but there was supposed to have been a second Dietz child who was, again, this darker tone. This kid, who would have been a younger than Lydia, was supposed to have died at the end of the movie, or near the end of the movie, the film's climax. Yeah. Again, complete rewrite, completely written out.
They didn't leave it
Catherine O'Hara, for everyone listening to, that was Home Alone.
Home Alone
that
mom.
was the mom.
The mom from Home
right?
Alone.
And,
Yes.
and currently, well, not currently, but within the past few years from Schitt's Creek.
Schlitz.
Schitt's Creek.
I
You
thought
ever
she was
watch
going to
that?
say that she's currently home alone.
She might be home alone.
Who's to say?
But have
Call
you guys
her
watched
on
it? You guys watch Schitt's Creek? You ever watch that show?
I watched 1 or 2 episodes. I just
Pieces.
couldn't get into it.
Yeah, it's-
also, I agree.
I tried.
I
I
watched.
tried to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched the first
I'm missing
couple
it. I was
seasons,
missing
but like my wife loves it. A lot of people love that show.
Do it
And
for the
she-
ladies.
And she's
Happy wife,
she's
happy life.
yeah, that's right. She's the mother in it. And
Yes, she is.
Yeah,
And the father, he was
yeah, it's a guy from American Pie.
American Pie, the
and all
dad,
that. I told
yes.
Shallow about it, and he watched it, but he liked the daughter.
Now another funny
She's
fact.
on,
She's
yeah.
hot, yeah.
Another funny fact is that Tim Burton actually was looking at Arnold Schwarzenegger for the role of Beetlejuice.
Oh my God.
I did not see that.
Yeah, I
that's
did.
news to me.
Yeah, that's on the interweb.
Wow.
If Michael Keaton doesn't play Beetlejuice,
What if Arnold played him? Like,
I'm telling you, if Michael Keaton doesn't play Beetlejuice, there is no Beetlejuice. That
Agreed.
movie does not.
but I don't know. I think Arnold
Do you
could have
know
done it
who's,
justice.
do you know-
Beetlejuice.
Michael Keaton
Ja.
was absolutely
Let,
just phenomenal as Beetlejuice.
let me
That's-
blow your
No
mind
one
a
could have
minute,
done it.
Shallow though. Let me blow your because this guy, the original guy that was supposed to be Cat. Are you aware of it?
Absolutely.
So blow his mind once. Tell me
So now, when you say original guy,
who Tim Burton wanted.
that's right. So Burton's pick, his number 1 pick, and this will lead itself into another fun fact. Tim Burton's want was Sammy Davis Jr.
Yes, that was number 1.
That's from your era, man. Your guy, Frank. All that.
Shammy.
But David Geffen, the guy with the guy who ponied up the cash for this movie, he was just super insistent on Michael Keaton. But yeah, man, Sammy Davis Jr.
What do you think?
Wrap your head around that.
I mean, as much as I love the Rat Pack and, Mr. Sinatra,
They
I
said
don't think Smokey could have done a good as job
Nice.
as Michael Keaton.
they said the Candy Man can't.
I don't.
That's what they said.
I can't see nobody but Keaton doing it.
Good old one eye.
Yeah, there's no way.
Also considered were Dudley Moore and Sam Kinison,
Oh wow, Sam Kinison. That
which
was
is
there.
ironic. On my way driving over here, I was listening to whatever I was. Yeah. I was listening to
Like stand up.
Wild Thing.
Oh yeah, from Back to School.
His song. So he was in. No. So he
Was
was
that
for
in
sure
Back
in
to
Back to
School?
School. But yeah, like he did a song.
Oh, he did a music. Yeah, that's
did a
right. Yeah,
music
yes,
video
yes,
of
yes.
Wild Thing.
I was thinking for some reason he did
What
that song.
station were
in-
you listening
in
to?
Back to School, but
I want to say either Classic Rewind or
It was like serious or
yeah, I'm
Okay,
serious for
okay.
sure.
Wasn't some girl in the video jumping around with
Yeah,
him in a
it's
mud
like,
pit or something, Tawny Katane or something?
That was Jessica Hahn.
Jessica Hahn.
Jessica Hahn.
That's the girl that was messed up with the Bakers, right? Jim Baker, Jim
Correct.
and Tammy Faye. You
Sam-
can make it.
Sam Kinnison's like his stand up. My favorite bit of his is about it's fucking sand. Move. You ever hear that? Where he's
Move
talking
to where
about,
the fucking food's at.
yeah.
You know this will be in 1,000 years. Fucking sand.
He's talking about those commercials and stuff where
No, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, Bill Pullman. He rest his soul. He was also
yeah.
considered for the role of Adam.
Adam,
That was Alec Baldwin.
Oh, okay.
No, Bill Pullman was dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From Twister and all that.
Mhm.
He was yeah, what did he die from? It wasn't that long ago though, but yeah, you're right.
Well,
I
his,
don't know
his
exactly
son
what
is acting now. He's in the movie with what's that stud's name?
Wait.
that does,
Who said Twister? Are you thinking of Bill Paxton?
Bill Paxton.
Oh.
Yes, that was a mix up.
So Bill
Yeah,
Pullman
Bill
was
Pullman
he
was-
was the president in Independence Day.
Yeah, I didn't know he died.
He was also in the Mel Brooks movie for
Spaceballs.
Spaceballs.
Yes, I didn't know. Oh my gosh! Wow, I
So
didn't-
Yeah,
just
he
to-
had I think he
Just
had a
to
disease.
confirm, Bill Pullman died, not Bill Paxton.
Yes. So
Okay.
yeah,
but
no,
Bill
no
Paxton
writing
is dead
letters.
also.
Is he?
Oh yeah, Bill Paxton died a while ago. Yeah.
I didn't know. Are you sure about that?
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bill
Bill
Paxton's the one
Paxton
I was thinking of.
Bill
From, like,
Paxton
Weird
and Bill
Science.
Pullman
He
are
was
both
Chet.
dead.
Bill Paxton.
Both
Bill
the
Paxton
Bills.
was Chet.
Yes.
Kill Bill. They're both dead.
They're both gone.
Oh God.
Now, Bill Pullman's son is doing a series on Netflix or Prime Video with what's that guy's name? It's a really good actor from Goonies. He's
he's
an older guy now.
Yeah, Brolin.
Yeah, Josh
Brolin.
Brolin is doing this Outer Range thing, and Bill Pullman's son looks like him. You could tell it's his
Okay,
kid.
cool.
You could tell it's his kid.
Have to
He's
tune
in this.
into that.
He's in this movie with Josh Brolin.
So we talked about the budget on here, Zap, $15 million, and it says here $1 million budget for effects. That's what he used for,
Yeah.
and he wanted it to be more like
So he wanted Tim Burton had wanted to make this like just a reminiscent of the movies he had when he was a kid, when the movies he had seen when he was coming up, where special effects were garbage. I mean,
Right.
absolutely garbage.
Mm-hmm.
So he made, and you can see that the special effects in this are not
Not good.
It's not CGI. It's
Right.
not anything
No.
like that. You see a lot of, instead you see still motion photography.
Yeah.
You see some claymation.
Well, Tim Burton's known for that. That's like
Right.
that's some of his stuff.
It worked out well for him.
Yeah,
Well,
it looked good. It
I
was
would
cool.
I would say that maybe then when he made Mars Attacks, that's the kind of look he was going. Remember how Mars Attacks looked like it could have been out of the 50s and just it was kind of the special
the way
effects,
he did, yeah. But I think that was the way. I mean, Burton likes that.
that retro feel.
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, the older feel to his movies.
Right.
I mean, I don't know personally, but it seems like that.
I hope they never remake Beetlejuice. I hope they never do it.
well, there's talks of them doing that.
They better
It's
not.
Been
Were they-
going.
Were they really looking at like Robert De Niro and like people like that? I heard to be Beetlejuice. Did you
I
guys
mean,
read any of that?
Do you have names there?
Yeah, it's Dustin Hoffman, Robin Williams, Jim Carrey, who I think would have been funny, Bill Murray, Robert De Niro. I just think that those names are a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you always hear that. I think every movie we do, they always have people attached, but you never know how close they really
Yeah.
were.
Yeah, I don't know if those were hopes and wants.
Those were
just that
like
or
going
another
across the
person.
desk where they're like, nah.
Right.
Again, it's interesting when we were talking about Sammy Davis Jr. possibly taking on the role, or I'm sorry, being considered for the role as Burton's pick. In later versions of the character, Beetlejuice, this is after rewrites. Again, he started out as a real evil, scary demon. As during that conversion, that rewrite into this more funny, laughable, happier type
Happy
of
demon.
character. Yeah, the happy demon. His dialogue was actually to have been written in Ebonics.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Can you imagine that?
Yeah. Now, who wrote this up, you said?
This was the writers were
But so it was for Sammy Davis Jr. You're saying?
no. It's just, it is very coincidental, or they're borderline ironic that while they are considering Sammy Davis, they're also rewriting this script to be Beetlejuice's script to be Ebonics.
Oh, well, that's crazy.
Right? So think about it this way: if Michael Keaton ended up getting the role, which he obviously did, can you imagine? That would be
Yeah.
awful. That
Yeah.
would be absolutely terrible.
That's an insane fact.
But the way Michael Keaton acted out the character, I don't think anything was given to him. They just told him like, you're like a really old, possessed demon type.
That
Just
goes
go
back
with
to
it.
his stand-up comedy
Yeah.
days.
Yeah, I think it was all,
Phenomenal.
Absolutely.
well, that too.
phenomenal.
Yes.
Yeah, I did not
But
know that.
yeah, it was
about
all
him.
like off the cuff. Like he wasn't really given anything. They just said, okay, this is who you are and
What?
do your thing.
He said of this movie that was his personal favorite of all the movies that he's been in. Is Michael Keaton's favorite film of his own, which I thought was surprising.
I think Alec Baldwin hated being in it. This is one of his.
Well, I mean, from what I read about them, there's talks of, and we'll get, I guess, maybe into it at the end, talking about a sequel or like a remake or revisiting it. But I think a lot of people were on board to do it. And I don't know about Alec Baldwin for sure.
So
about
this was
him.
done. This was done before Alec Baldwin was known.
As
I don't want to say before
not
he
a good
became
actor
Yeah,
or
before
anything.
he became douchey. I mean, just as a person, like he's a douche.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, now he got like 9 kids from a lady that thinks she's Italian, but she's like from Detroit, something like that. she talks like with this like accent and stuff, and I don't know. Baldwin, he's in a whole nother world, man.
Whole other world. Oh, fun fact. So as we're talking about other people auditioning for the roles, as we're talking about people that could have otherwise been Beetlejuice. There were others who had auditioned for Lydia's role, which ultimately went to Winona Ryder.
Winona, right.
Sarah Jessica Parker,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Brooke Shields.
Yeah, Brooke.
Brooke Shields.
because
She was a little
Winona had like the
older.
dark eyes, dark hair. You don't want a blonde
And,
playing like a dark goth type.
I don't know if you guys know off the top of your head, but are they roughly all around the same age?
At this time, yeah, they would have
Okay.
been.
Okay.
Well, I guess they would still be too.
Right.
If
Right.
They were the same age then, and they're the
They're
same
still
age now.
No, but
yeah.
Burton, I guess he saw Winona play the character from Lucas,
Correct.
which was a movie with who was the
Yeah, it's
actor?
Corey Haim.
No,
Yeah,
Corey Haim, but
Corey
who
Haim.
was the jock kid in the movie in Wall Street?
Oh,
Charlie
Sheen.
Charlie Sheen.
Oh.
Yeah. But she was kind of like the goofy kid that was like Lucas's friend. He really liked her for this role, like right away.
Okay.
Hmm.
Know that.
Also included were Diane Lane.
For Winona Ryder's part?
Yeah. Lori Loughlin
Oh, from Full House.
from Full House. That's right. Justine Bateman.
Okay.
I could see Justine
that.
Bateman.
Yeah.
Molly Ringwald.
No,
Nah.
she was too big.
And these are all people who actually auditioned for the role here.
Wait, she auditioned for it?
All of these people auditioned for this role.
And that's a fact. Wow.
I'm glad Diane Lane didn't get it.
She must have been like 40 when she was auditioning for that.
Oh, no.
Diane Lane. She's like, what is she? She's at least
She's
60
as old
now.
as all these other broads are right now. They're all around.
Winona
the same
Ryder is
age.
not 60 years old. Can we fact check that? Honestly,
Diane Lane's about 60.
she played in all the movies with Richard Gere.
Yeah, she played in that one movie where she,
But-
I mean, she took it all off.
Yeah, but
I mean, what was that movie where he killed that guy for doing things with his, what was that called?
But-
Attraction or
Unfaithful.
Oh,
Unfaithful?
No,
Yeah.
is that
What
the
was
one
that called?
where she like the guy with the books and she got the books and she went to his little apartment and the foreign guy. Is that Unfaithful? Is that what that's called?
Yeah.
Then he hits the guy with the globe,
Yeah.
but it's a globe that he got his wife. I was like, damn.
He got her up in the bathroom and hiked her up
Yeah.
her skull. Oh my God, Diane Lane's so hot.
No, she is. She's
But
very
let's say
attractive.
if Diane Lane was maybe 26 or something, and then maybe Winona was like 19, but they
But
probably
how are you
look-
going to have a daughter that's 26?
so they had to do it all the time. They have kids in high school.
What
that
year
are in
did
their
what year did
mid-20s.
Beetlejuice come out?
88.
Yeah,
Okay, Diane Lane is 57.
yeah, I said 60. Yeah,
So she's like 10 years older than us. So
Okay. How
she
old
would
is
have been like
Winona?
24 and
Too old for
25
that.
when this came out,
Yeah,
right?
too old for that part.
Right? About that?
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
can't believe.
And
Josh Brolin loved her.
Winona Ryder is 51, so they're very close in age.
Well, that's what I said.
7
6
years.
years. Like, say Winona was
Yeah,
19,
no.
or she wouldn't have been 19, but say 19 or 20, and maybe Diane Lane was 26,
26, 27, but
and
that
they-
just looked a little.
You okay now? You're good?
I'm okay. Just I just see Diane Lane as
Hell no. She's like 100. That girl's 127 years old.
no. I thought Diane Lane was honestly in her 70s. She's very attractive. No, but I'm sorry, Diane Lane, if she's out there. Like I thought she was a lot older from her Richard Gere like type. She's always like a love interest. Some dude is like 70.
I'm sure she's listening.
Like it's like Dustin Hoffman and and Diane Lane in Love.
I think,
journey.
think what happens, Matt, is that we forget how old we are right now.
That's
and then,
right.
And then, like, I look at Winona Ryder and I still think of her as being like 18, 19.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I think in our heads, like, it's just.
I
our
was
grasp
just
of
thrown
time.
off because I just thought Diane Lane was a lot older than Winona Ryder.
Well, I mean, I think it's like anything. Like, we forget, I think,
Yeah.
about time and how, you know.
I keep
But
forgetting.
no, I see what you're saying.
I'm not young anymore.
You maybe saw her in something. Winona Ryder hasn't been up until Stranger Things. She wasn't in
Yeah,
a
but like
lot.
Diane Lane, I think my mom talks about movies she's in, like Nights in
Yeah.
Rodanthe or something.
Well, she was playing Superman's dad in the DC comic movies.
Yes, that's
and
how I
they,
just
they
said.
got
That.
her all olded up. you
However,
know?
they
It's-
cast her is much older than what she is. I mean, 57 is
I
not
think it's
far off of
horrible.
our age.
I think Hollywood sucks.
No, I'm
I
quitting
think
this podcast.
They should give Diane Lane some meatier freaking roles.
Yeah, like cast her as like some 26-year-old love interest.
She's
for-
freaking hot.
she's good looking.
She's freaking hot.
too
I would
late.
choose her over a lot of 25, 30-year-olds out there.
If she's
Diane Lane, you
Diane Lane is
freaking
57
little
years old.
minx.
Anybody out there? All right. On with the show.
where were
I'm
we?
sorry.
about that.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, also included was Juliette Lewis, Jennifer Connelly, and Alyssa Milano.
Ooh,
Alyssa
Nice.
Milano. I could see her.
I like those last two.
She's like a Winona Ryder light. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely could see her, Alyssa Milano. Yeah,
But then she got like cast as like the Long Island Lolita.
she would have been Who's the Boss then.
Yeah.
Around
Yeah.
then, yeah.
She
Okay.
could have pulled it off. She was that happy, whatever, and she could have easily pulled off the goth look of Lydia.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I got a cool fact. I think Zapp. We all like this one.
Go for it.
All right. So in 1998, Netflix. This was the first DVD that was mailed out when they started their service.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
thought it was cool.
no, spoiler. I remember you telling us that
Oh, did I? already tell
from
you?
another.
previous
Oh, I
podcast.
don't
Another
even,
cast,
I didn't
yeah.
remember I referenced that.
You don't even know what he references anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I'll go through so many.
Yeah, I know we got to get with our writing department.
Well, on the off chance that that would have been during which one we been doing the was that during the Dexter killer or I don't remember. We talked about Netflix,
Yeah, I can't remember.
but
So many.
yeah, so that's a cool fact.
Is that
about
when they had the little red thing they would send and you
Mhm.
rip the thing off, then put it back in the other little pouch and you send it back?
Right.
A lot of kids don't know about this. This is the times.
I did that for the longest time, man. For the
Oh my
longest
gosh,
time.
I
That's
forgot
great.
about doing that.
Yeah.
Let's
Remember
just-
you
Wow, I
put it in
forgot
the-
about doing that.
You would rip it open and have
Yeah.
another pouch to send it back.
Yeah.
I-
And then you would get your new one right away because you had to put them in your queue.
I always felt bad for the mailmen.
I remember we talked about that
Yeah.
in the
Like,
Dexter
God,
killer.
All the weight they were carrying with all these goddamn
It's called a
movies.
queue. Remember you put it in your
I-
queue.
I just can't believe I forgot all about that.
I still have the queue. It's still there. To be clear, I've had the account since then. I've ceased DVDs.
Well,
but
do
it's
they
still
do
there.
that? You can do that.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh wow.
Absolutely. You can, yes. Streaming is not the only thing with Netflix. You can still get the DVDs.
did
I
not
am
know
signing
that.
up tomorrow.
100%.
All right.
That's pretty
I'm
wild.
there.
Fun fact, Angelica Houston was supposed to be, she was the original one cast as Delia.
That's because of her
Wow.
darkness from the
Addams
Adams
Family.
family.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
She was
would
the
have
one
been a
that-
good, yeah.
Mm-hmm. She
Yeah,
had to
great actress.
cancel. She had
She's
to
a great
cancel due
actress.
to illness.
She
Did
got
you guys
sick.
did you guys see that new movie that's coming out about Wednesday? It's supposed to be like
I heard about it.
it's a
Yeah.
Netflix thing. I
yeah,
think.
it's supposed to be like a dark like
Well, it's Tim Burton.
yeah, it's Tim Burton.
Who's
Exactly.
playing the girl? Who's playing the
I don't know, but she looks like spot on. She's
I
like,
heard about it.
they said it's supposed to be like out of this world. It's getting like crazy reviews already. Like it's like one of the coolest new shows coming out for like teen girls, teen guys, people as cool as us. They said it's gonna be pretty good.
Nice.
It's a quick little
What else you guys got? Got any more?
Tim
cool-
Burton.
I mean, look, this is all going to go off the rails any direction. So please,
Yeah, please.
throw a few out there.
So there were plans for us, like we talked about. They were talking about doing a sequel to this. It was to be called Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian,
Yeah.
and
That's like a Weekend at Bernie's type shit.
it would be, to me, like, I don't know. I mean, that's what they wanted to do. I guess he would go there and like get into like a surf competition and.
Are you
some
kidding
kind-
me?
Yeah, no, I'm serious. I think that family moved and relocated there, and there was something along those lines when I was reading up on it, and people were on board for it. Like, yeah, we'll do it.
The
And then he
same-
got preoccupied with Batman and
Oh.
all that because I came right after this.
which he was horrible in.
Who, Michael Keaton?
Yeah.
In Batman?
Was he the original
You
with Kim
he was-
Basinger?
Are
You
you,
didn't
kidding
like
me?
that?
He was
I
the
didn't-
best Batman ever.
No.
No.
I loved Michael
Yeah,
Keaton.
I thought he was great. I mean, I did. I mean, I thought that was a great
Who's the
movie.
guy from American Psycho?
Well, but Christian Bale.
Christian Bale
very
was
good.
a very good Batman.
But Michael Keaton was great.
The first one, I thought it was cheesy, and then you had like
What?
Prince come in like,
No, that was that in the first Batman?
Of course. So Prince was not featured in there, but yes, the
The
original.
Bat Dance.
go
and
with
all
the
that.
smile,
The original
Bat
score, that's right.
Dance. Yeah,
Okay.
which I'm a very big Prince fan. I don't know why he even signed on for that. I don't know. I thought Keaton and the Basinger thing.
No, I mean, I think I remember at the time.
Remember how big Batman was then?
It was huge.
Yeah, but I thought Keaton was like
Tremendous.
the wrong person to cast. I'm sorry.
And the funny thing is, like, we talked about this in the Burbs. Okay, we talked about in the Burbs, which came out in the summer of '88. It would have been, I believe, Corey Feldman had a Batman shirt on.
Yeah,
Well,
he said it was
Batman the
before
movie
it
wasn't
wasn't
out,
out.
and we were saying, well, how did he get it? But then thinking back after we recorded that, I do remember there was a huge marketing thing for that movie.
Oh, yeah.
They were selling the T-shirts on the boardwalk. People had all that before the movie even released. So that made sense that he was wearing a Batman
There was
shirt.
hype for that movie for a very, very,
Jack
very long
Nicholson
time.
played the Joker in that, so they tried to get him. And I think he, after seeing that movie or something, there was something said that he was like, I'm not doing another one of those.
He didn't like. Well, I know he had like much like Heath Ledger with the Joker. I guess mental issues and stuff after.
No, Jack didn't.
Yeah, he did. He said he had problems with it. Like he warned him about that character. He's like, you're gonna go into a dark place. He told Heath Ledger that after
I don't
he
know,
played that role.
I thought the first.
I don't know if
Bat-
that had anything.
Yeah, the
him-
first Batman was kind of like campy. You guys didn't think so?
They were all campy. All those ones with George Clooney and Val Kilmer.
Yeah,
and-
those were lousy. Those were
lousy.
absolutely lousy.
all they were all campy. They were all very.
But I
But
was
the original one, the Michael Keaton.
I think the Michael Keaton one, all the ones before Christian Bale were all campy. I
didn't
think
like
when
Keaton,
they I think when they went with Christian Bale, they became a true dark,
like
hero
a dark hero Batman.
Very,
Yeah.
very.
I feel the
much
same.
better.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the first one. The other ones with Schwarzenegger and all that, I mean, I could give it,
Like
give it
Dr.
that.
Freeze and whatever the hell he was.
But the original Batman,
Uma Thurman.
and then
Uma Thurman, yeah, the kiss
Poison Ivy.
Poison Ivy.
and then Batman Begins with Christian Bale. I like that.
Yeah, that's where I started. Like, I remember being hyped for the very first Batman, and not like that. I was like a movie reviewer when I was 16. When did that come out? Like
No,
years-
we were 14.
Oh,
by
God.
8th grade, right?
So you have two different approaches to the Batman, right? So, I mean, when Batman originally came out, just think of the Adam West and Burt Ward show.
Right.
I mean, that's as campy as hell. This is the show from the 60s, right? So, I mean,
But that
that's
was it was meant to be like
But
that.
that's all we knew at that point.
That's right. So as the Batman, the person or the comic book persona, as that evolved over the course of time, again, his original uniform was that gray and blue thing that Burt
Whatever
Ward,
that was. Yeah, Burt Ward.
that they were wearing back in the 60s. So Batman itself had evolved. This was just, I would call it a fine mix of the two. Like you had the campiness of the Joker, you had the campiness of just whatever kind of bumbly fun was happening and blah blah blah. But you also had truly then the darkness of that, Batman clad in black, his cool ass Batmobile, which was originally a Corvette.
But what was the shit too when they brought in Little Robin on that one? Like that actor too. He was like from.
Well, that wasn't in the first one, though.
No. I'm just saying. But then they brought him in, and that shit was terrible.
That's what I mean. That's what I
Was
said.
that Chris O'Donnell? Or
Yeah, Chris O'Donnell.
He's in there. He's in that CGI with LL Cool J now, right?
With the who?
He's with LL Cool J in that CGI New York thing. Like
CSI.
CSI.
Yeah,
CGI.
Well, it should be.
I was like, what?
They should put some CGI in it, make it better.
I thought you were talking about a movie that's like CGI. But anyway, yeah, back to what are we talking about? Beetlejuice or Batman?
Basically talking about Michael Keaton.
I want to tangent there a little bit.
Well, that's all right. I mean, that's
what we're here. I mean, movies. We're putting it out there.
Right.
I like talking about movies.
I mean, like we always say about these movies is if you're listening to this, you probably have seen it. And if you haven't seen it, you probably want to see it. I definitely think it's a must watch.
Wait. The original Batman, though, maybe we should review that. We should go over that.
I have it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think I'm putting that on deck.
I would like to review it. I get where you're coming from. Maybe now, I know like now because other movies have come out, maybe it's lost its luster. But I know when it came out, I thought it blew my mind back then. I was like, this is a great movie. I thought it was dark. Like he said, a little bit campy too. But now we're comparing it to
Burt Ward and whoever the little guy that played Robin back then when they were climbing buildings, like just walking across stage.
They turned the camera sideways.
They were holding the robe. I mean,
I loved them when I was a 10, 11-year-old kid. I loved watching them.
So do you remember the part near the end of Beetlejuice where they summon him and he comes up and he has the carousel on his head?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Jack Skeleton.
Did you know about that? So on top of the merry-go-round is basically, it looks a lot like Jack Skellington.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, I was watching it with my son, and he pointed that out to me.
He's like, that's Jack Skellington. He had been drawing that character since the early 80s when he was at
Burton
Disney.
has.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he already had kind of plans for that.
He was doing, back when he was originally thinking up Frankenweenie and stuff like that.
Oh, that stuff, yeah.
So
Frankenweenie was actually kind of cool. I dug that movie.
Yeah, it was like a little short film.
No, but
was it? Or I'm thinking of Vincent. There was one called Vincent. It was like a short film that he did, Frankenweenie.
Was that the Vincent was in black and white too?
I think I'd have to go back and watch. I have it on My Nightmare Before Christmas Blu-ray. I think they have the little short films that he did as like bonus material.
So to pull that all together, because you're both right, there was a release of a movie within the last 10 years called Frankenweenie. This was Burton's long-awaited. I've been sitting on it. It's getting its own full-blown movie versus the Frankenweenie
full-length release
versus the little snippet or whatever had come out years earlier that basically gets him in the door to wherever he is now.
I gotcha, yeah. Because I know, like I said, I know those movies were like originally like little short ideas he had. But yeah, I forgot about that. You're right. There was a full length.
But like for people out there though, like for Tim Burton, if anybody is, if they enjoy Tim Burton movies, I don't mind doing any Tim Burton.
I love Tim Burton.
I think the guy's good.
Personally, like anything he does, usually for the most part. I mean, there were ones that I was kind of maybe at the time, like when what was the one we were just talking about, Mars Attacks.
Mars Attacks.
When I first saw that, I was like, I don't know, like I wasn't into it. Watching it over a couple times, I started to appreciate it. And I think it's like great musicians. Sometimes you hear an album and you're like, I don't know.
Yeah, that song sucks. I don't get it.
Later in your life, you hear it and you're like, I get it now. I get that band now. I didn't get them at the time, but they're a little ahead of their time. Maybe he was just ahead of his time on stuff.
Like when my dad was trying to get me to listen to like Supertramp. I'm like, what?
Yeah, you didn't get it.
But then when you get older, you're like,
terribly underrated.
They're not. That's what I'm saying. Like some of the stuff he had.
Supertramp. What's their big song that I would know?
Take the long way home.
Yes, stuff like that. Or what's
So Made in America is that one. Oh God, how am I having
Dream Police and
no, that's not that. That's Cheap Trick.
Whatever.
No, but like he had stuff on this reel to reel, and he would be like, I'd come downstairs like, Dad, what are you listening to? Like, but then when you get older and you hear this stuff on, they're oldies now, like real oldies.
You're
like, man, you're like, that shit was pretty good.
Right. And I think Tim Burton movies, maybe for some, for me at least, there was a few of them that I didn't get. And then the more I watch them, I'm like, I get it now.
Yeah.
I get
as you mature.
His vision, you know what I mean?
And I think a lot
of Sweeney Todd, right?
Yes.
That was
Sweeney
huge.
Todd, with Johnny
Depp.
Johnny Depp.
Sweeney Todd, the barber of
demon of blah, blah, blah. Seville or Deville or
that was huge.
Deville.
I remember that was huge when that came out. It made a lot of money.
But he's big into Johnny Depp. He likes who's the other actress that always worked with Johnny that Burton has?
Amber Heard.
Is that her? No,
I don't.
The British girl.
Oh, she was married, or like was his life partner?
Uma.
No.
She played Bellatrix Lestrange
Yes.
in the
Helen Bonham
Bottom
yeah.
Carter.
Come on, guys.
Yeah,
Helen
he
Bonham
casts her on a lot of it, and I think she's a great actress. She's
She
very
is.
underrated for how good she is.
So,
But yeah, anything else? Yeah, what do you guys got?
You got anything, Zap, or you want me to?
I mean, not necessarily about the movie. I just like, so I watch that movie and I see like that little model so that dude, Adam Maitland, played by Alec Baldwin.
Baldwin.
So he maintained this model of the town up in his attic. And it's that as I remember seeing that as a kid, and it reminded me a great deal of, as I was growing up, like every Christmas I would do these train layouts with are you guys familiar with these trains, like the Lionel?
Yeah,
Lionel trains, yeah.
Like during Christmas
And you
time,
could
people put them
get
out.
the trees and stuff from your local hobby shops, which they don't
Absolutely.
have anymore.
Absolutely.
If you're into that, have you ever been out to the one out 78?
Oh,
On the
yeah.
red side? Okay, I want to check that
Oh,
out.
that
thing's
place is
incredible.
closed. It's not there anymore.
What?
Roadside America has closed.
Oh wow, yeah, I wanted to check that out, and I've heard about it. And
It's like the size of like 4 of our houses put together. You would go in there, and it was and you could hit like buttons to where you get like another train to go onto the tracks, and it had like all these towns, and it had like places in the mountain, and it had like the lowlands, it had valleys.
so basically,
Very cool.
what we're talking about locally here in Pennsylvania, there's
Yeah.
Route 78 here near Lebanon County area, and there's a place called, you said, Roadside America.
Roadside America.
And it's, I think what you're trying to describe, like
Yeah,
little.
so these places exist. Surely we've all seen something where it is essentially, it's a model train layout, right? It's a town, it's whatever it is, it's everything Matt had just described. Now the one he's describing is obviously a super-sized, ridiculously
huge, yes, huge.
expansive layout.
Right.
But yeah, I just remember seeing that, like, again, seeing it recently just takes me back to my childhood, like having that train layout every Christmas, just this own little miniature world on a 4x8 sheet of plywood for a month.
Which we've started that again in our family, like doing the train track around the Christmas
Around the
tree.
tree, yeah.
Yeah, because my brother-in-law had this old train set, and he's like, I ain't doing nothing with it. So we took it the last 3 or 4 years we've been doing that.
Yeah, and
But you don't see much of that.
And you get some of those ones that are heavy. They got weight. The vintage ones. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Her dad, my wife's
Lionel,
my father-in-law has
Lionel
one,
trains.
like an old one, and
Yeah.
it's substantial.
They were
It's
made
got-
with like real.
They were built. Like,
Yeah.
you can tell they're built solid. And they're worth money. Some of them. You know what I mean? Obviously, because they're the classic ones. But
Do you know who owns a fun fact about Lionel Trains? Would you happen to know who is a 20% stakeholder in Lionel Trains?
Lionel Richie.
No,
I don't know.
Neil Young.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, his son, I think, was very into trains.
So Neil
right?
Young as a kid, Neil
That's
Young
autism
Neil Young himself as a kid loved these Lionel Trains. Loved them. And so when they were in financial distress, he said, well, I can't let this go out of business. I need for it to last. I want for it to last because of his kid and so that's now 2 generations, right? So he loved it, and he wants it to be able to carry on for generations more.
He kept searching for that heart of gold.
So he
since he was getting old.
He pumped money into it. They went through 1 or 2 bankruptcy filings just to reorganize.
Right.
But yeah, they're still thriving. They're still doing their thing. They're the largest manufacturer of the O-scale train.
O scale.
That's cool.
What's that mean?
So there's like 12. I think there's about, I want to say, there's a dozen different scales of train.
Oh, like the medium size.
It's all the so it's all the ratio.
I know what you're talking
It's
about.
the ratio of the actual size of the train to the let's say a
track
real
and-
train.
yeah.
So you have call it a 1 to 500 ratio is the smallest possible, and then one would be like the one Ricky Schroeder's rolling around in Silver Spoon.
Silver Spoons
Right.
Forever. You and I.
Rick Schroeder.
The Ricker.
So like O is somewhere in the middle. But it's obviously smaller than that big ass one, but it's a couple of ones bigger than the smallest one possible. And that's the one you'll typically see like in those Roadside America ones, in that and the other ones, like any one where you see like the true layout people, like the fanatics about layouts. It's always
I wonder who
O-scale.
built that little town. It was probably like a set department guy.
Well,
or-
they got money. They got.
That's what I
they
mean.
got
But like,
set
did they get somebody
designers
from
and
the
shit.
set design, or was it?
They got some
somebody-
elves from Middle Earth.
Yeah, probably.
Tinkerers.
So, did you guys know on this movie that they kind of got the idea from Poltergeist, but they reversed it? So, in Poltergeist, the people were good and the ghosts were bad. But in this, the ghosts were
ghosts are
good and
good.
the people were bad. So they just took Poltergeist and kind of reversed it.
Well, the people,
Interesting.
the people weren't really bad. It's just they were
Well,
different.
They were.
Poltergeist
They were
was
alive.
scary. That was a scary movie.
We
Yeah,
just
we just did that one.
We just
Superfan.
reviewed it, and yeah, it was definitely. I mean, I think it held up. I
was like
enjoyed
14 or 13 when that came out, and I was scared.
Poltergeist.
I was a scary little kid.
Yeah.
I suggested that one. I thought it was one of my favorites. Like, well, not favorite as in, but I remember one that always stood out in like my dreams that scared me when I was younger.
But once you say that people in this movie were other than the daughter, but they were, I mean, I could see where that makes sense. Like they weren't really good people. I mean, they had
they're all into their money,
right? And the ghosts seemed like decent people, other than Beetlejuice, I guess. I mean, he even wasn't that bad. You know what I mean? He was just
goofy.
Yeah, but the couple were Alec Baldwin and what's her name?
Gina Davis.
Gina Davis seemed to be decent people. I don't know. They were like nice ghosts.
I think
guess.
they weren't used to being dead. They still thought that they were living. They didn't know where they were at. They were weirded out.
Right.
Well, they were trying to learn and teach themselves how to scare the shitty new humans that took over their house out of their house.
Well, they had a book for that, which I don't even think we talked about.
They sucked at it too.
There was a book that they read about it in a book about it.
Yeah.
What was the book? Recently Deceased, like
it's like a guide to for the
which they really didn't get into that much until later on when they learned about scaring techniques and.
Right.
But what's the guy Otho gets a hold of the book and learns like the techniques on how to get them out because it turned into like a big what's the word I'm looking for?
So let's rework this.
Yeah, we're going back now.
We're gonna
rewinding.
We're gonna remix the remix.
That's my rewind time.
The rewind is
and
pretty
everything
good.
was back to normal. So what Otho had wanted to do was perform a seance to bring these ghosts back so they could show off to their house guests and would-be investors like, hey, we have ghosts.
Well, the investors they had an idea that they would bring people to this town because there's ghosts in the town. It would turn into like an amusement park.
Right.
This
They
is one of the ideas,
saw
right?
an opportunity.
Yeah, opportunity for money, which made them bad people.
That's right.
Anybody wants
And
opportunity
so
for money.
in order to prove to those investors that they have something to show, they do this seance. However, Otho accidentally is performing an exorcism. So as he's reciting and doing whatever he's doing, this is why the ghosts came back, and then they started dying.
Yeah, they started to grow old.
Yes, grow old.
disintegrate.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're actually back to human form then,
Yes,
basically,
they
and
would
falling
be.
apart. That
But
makes
in order
sense.
for, I think they said Beetlejuice again because they kept bringing him back and putting him back in. When you said his name 3 times, it would either bring him back. And he needed to get married, I believe.
To stay in the real.
Stay in.
That was
Yeah,
like a
so he
claw.
was like, oh, I'm going to get this girl here, which was Winona Ryder, to be his wife. And that was with the red dress. Did you guys read the fact on that?
No.
There was a red dress, and Lydia's dress was bright red. And according to the old rhyme about wedding dress colors, it says, married in red, better off dead.
Oh,
Fun fact.
yeah, that
Look
is
what I
pretty
learned
wild.
today.
Yeah. Did you notice the people like throughout the movie? So throughout the movie, obviously, like we talked, the couple die in the car crash, and they're going through basically they're locked in this house. They have to figure out how long they're stuck. They don't know what's going on, but they end up meeting other dead people along the way. And of all the other dead people in this movie, they were all stuck in the state they were in when they died. Like
Yeah, which was that was cute.
Except them.
Yes.
Did you notice? Like, because they would have been soaking wet.
You would think.
Yeah, and they said that
But they walked into the house wet, remember?
they
were
did,
like-
but they
yeah.
didn't stay wet the whole time. And they said they decided not to do that because it would be uncomfortable during filming. And so, I knew you were gonna
Alec
make it
Baldwin
into
and Gina
something.
Davis was like, I don't need this
Stay
shit.
wet if I was there.
Yeah, I'm sure. But yeah, they decided to not do that because it would have been
'Cause
uncomfortable.
there was like the
filming.
girl cut in half. There was a girl that slit her wrist. The
Right.
girl that, or the guy that was the shark bit him. So it was like his
Right.
leg was, yeah.
There's a football team that
The
was
football
all
team
banged
that
up.
died in
Yeah.
their
and
bus
then
crashed.
The receptionist, Miss Argentina, like you said, her wrists were slit.
Correct.
Yeah, so she was one that committed suicide, and that was another fact. They said that, I guess there was a part in that book where if you committed suicide, you were put in the afterlife. You were put into like
HR or something like
social
that.
services
Social
or whatever.
services, yeah.
Which is so about Beetlejuice. He used, if you recall from the movie, he used to work for their caseworker. He used to work for Juno, that old lady.
Oh, okay.
If you just recall the dialogue in the movie,
Yes.
and she knew like this guy is a bad dude,
Yeah,
man.
stay away from him.
Yeah,
She
this
said,
guy's
don't
a
call
Yeah, don't
him.
even
bad
say that
shit.
name. Yeah.
So yeah, and again, as we had mentioned, they don't discuss his background, but apparently, allegedly, part of the writing was he had died from hanging himself, though he did not. He didn't try to, like, it was an accidental hanging. I can't remember
How that happens.
how
It
that
happens.
Yeah, but that was like the whole idea is that this couple is kind of locked in limbo, right? Would you say? And they're just trying to figure out how to move on to whether it be heaven or hell. Would you say that's like limbo where they're at? Basically?
For sure.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't leave the house, which I thought was odd. Because if they would leave the
went out
house,
into
they
that-
went to the sand world, and there was like a
whatever that was.
sandworm or
Yeah. And that's where those special effects come in there.
The one
Talking
that,
about the budget, it was limited,
yeah.
but that's what it looked like. And if that's what the look he was going for, he had it. I mean, it was definitely
That alternate world in which they go whenever they step out of the house or leave
this
the house.
sandy world.
That was originally supposed to have been just a complete black world with the like Salvatore Dali melting
the
clocks,
and all
Okay.
that.
just falling all over the place.
That would have been wild. That
Kind of
would've
looked
been
like Dune, though.
cool.
Yeah, it was very Dune-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
My
Yeah.
favorite sci-fi movie.
so we were just talking about
The
that.
OG, the 1984 one, not the new one.
I didn't see the new one.
You see, look, there's Sting. See?
Sting's incredible.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was great in the original, not the new one. That was like 3.5 hours on HBO.
Yeah.
That's just part one.
Right, but all in all, I mean, I thought it was a great movie. I watched it about a year ago. We watched it with the kids, and then I went ahead and rented it again and watched it. My daughter watched it again, parts of it with me. She really liked it. I think it held up. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, my kids loved it, except for the
F word.
the F dash word,
And we're running
which kind of threw them off a little bit. They were like, "Dad."
You'll run into that with these older movies.
Yeah.
Like you just never know because you're not going to remember.
But as Zap and I were saying earlier on in the cast here, like I didn't recall that at all ever hearing that.
Yeah.
But it was plain as day.
I don't know. I know that I feel like a kid when I watch this movie, right? It just takes me back to that youth and just simpler times. And man, just a all around great
Fun.
movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I like
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up from everybody.
Yep. Like we talked about as far as the sequel goes. As far as the sequel
sequel.
goes, there was talk and there still is talk, and I don't know. I thought
They should just leave it at talk. I didn't see anything
there's
on
nothing
it.
on there about it because I thought,
Allegedly or purportedly, Michael Keaton and Winona Ryder are on board.
okay,
But they've been talking about a sequel since the 90s. Actually, since 1990.
They just wants the money.
well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, she's doing all right, I guess. I don't know how much you make off Netflix, like for Stranger Things.
Oh,
and
Stranger
all
Things.
that, but-
She's reeling it in now. She probably say no to that.
But yeah, I mean, I think I don't know Michael Keaton too. What's he been in lately? He was in
Did Birdman a few years
Birdman.
ago.
That was
Did he win an Oscar?
He was
for
good in that. Yes, he did win an
Didn't he
Oscar.
win an
Oh wait,
Oscar?
I need to fact check that.
Yeah, but he did the Birdman.
The Birdman was great.
back in like whatever 2015 or whatever it was.
That received.
It was great. I mean,
yeah.
it revived his career, which I mean should have never need revived. He's a great actor.
But wasn't that movie based on like his career, kind of like the
I don't know.
big actor that did like the Batman, and then his career kind of went.
He just cooled
like,
out for a
underground.
bit.
Yeah.
He earned the money. Let him spend the money. Let him relax. He was also he played Ray Kroc in that McDonald's.
Yes, that
movie.
was a good movie.
Awesome
I
movie.
love that movie where he went around. He was like on milkshake machines.
Yeah.
and started
Yeah,
all
started
that.
in the 50s. and-
Right. So originally on this movie, did you know about the original ending with Winona Ryder?
So are you talking about the song?
He did not win. He did not
Well-
win the Academy Award. Real quick for Birdman, he was nominee. He was nominated, did not win.
Well, he was
Not-
robbed.
Well, I don't know if it has anything to do with the song, but what happened to her? They changed like what was going to happen to her at the end.
How so?
Originally she was going to die in a fire and then join them in the afterlife, but they thought, oh, that might glorify like death and all that, and make young people like, oh, it looks fun when you die. It sounds ridiculous to say, but like for a young impressionable mind, if they're like,
Yeah.
oh, well, that's a way out, you know. I could,
Yeah.
like,
They
look
did
how
say
fun-
suicide quite a few times. and
Right.
my kids did look like what they didn't quite know.
So originally she was going to die in a fire and then join those two, basically get away from her family, and because she was, like I said, they wanted to make the parents and that then almost seemed like the bad people, and she was like good, that you know. And I forget now.
But that happened during the movie. So she said, there's a great scene in the movie where she's sitting there writing like her final letter that she, this, by the time you read this or whatever, I am so
gone.
alone and blah, blah, blah. And she, for sure. She wanted to be with, the dead Maitlands because her family sucked.
All
They
right.
absolutely sucked. So, I mean, that's,
Yeah, I
it's
guess
still
that could have
there.
been. Yeah, you're right. It could have been taken that way. I
Yeah,
guess,
the only ending I had seen that changed was they got again they had written off the second kid who was supposed to have in fact died.
I know.
So-
Yeah, you're
so,
right.
No, that's new. I did not know that about the Winona Ryder character.
Yeah, I guess she was gonna die in a fire, like I
Oh,
said. and-
that would have been cool.
so I don't know if it would be necessarily suicide, but I guess it's death, and then
Because she was kind of like, she was with both families then. Like she had her
Right.
family and
she'd
the
go
dead
off with them.
family, and they
Right.
loved her and made sure her grades were good.
Mm-hmm.
Cool movie.
I know that before the final end that before the final song that and she ended up dancing to at the end. Originally, she was supposed to be dancing to "When a Man Loves a Woman."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And
No, I wouldn't see that. I like to jump in.
I know
the
that
line.
song that they did
Rock your body
at the
all
dinner
time.
party. That became like it
Deo.
was on the charts and all that during that year that happened.
Harry
yeah.
Belafonte.
Right.
Completely refilled his empty pockets.
Yes.
Because he hadn't had a hit for decades.
So
Good old Harry.
Zap, when Shallow's usually here for a movie review, he likes to
yes.
rate our movie.
I don't know if you've been in one of these yet.
It's
Yeah.
called a boing meter.
Oh.
So he rates like so we did Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and that I think that was like a 7.5 on the boing
We'd
meter.
have to go back into the files
And then
for that.
we did North Shore. I think I was a solid 7
Seven
boinger.
boinger.
But that was based on Laird Hamilton, and he gave Fast Times with Phoebe Cates. So
That was high on the boinger.
So Shallow, I don't know how much memory you have. Like I know we're kind of putting you on the spot with this movie review here.
we have Gina
you've seen
Davis. Gina Davis is in this,
Yeah.
who is boingable.
Right.
Well,
Winona Ryder was too young. I believe that's jail time.
yeah, that's definitely jail
And,
date.
and just for reference, Zap, because I don't know if you've ever heard the scale. So a 10 would be like Monsters Ball, and that's Halle Berry. That's a 10 on
or
your
the
boing.
or the
But on the
bluest
boing
color.
meter-
Blue is the
Blue-
warmest color.
yeah,
Blue is
but
the
I
warmest
don't-
color.
I don't know how many people.
That's NC-17.
right,
though.
but I don't
That had
know.
a lot of lesbian action in it. Yeah.
So I don't know how many people in our audience have seen that.
Yeah,
A
some will
Monsters
say
Ball is more
Monsters Ball.
mainstream, and then a 1 would be Home Alone for like a boing meter, which
Gotcha.
makes sense because there's
Well,
not, you know what I mean,
but it did have Catherine O'Hara, which is also in this one.
right?
And I mean, you pretty much got Gina Davis, Catherine O'Hara. Winona Ryder was too young. I mean, Dick Cavett.
Well, not
Robert
at the time.
Goulet.
I mean, he would have been,
Yeah, true. That age.
Well,
Really not much to choose from. So let's see what the
My-
boinger does today.
my boing meter for this movie is going to have to be a 3.5.
3.5 boing.
That's respectable.
Yeah.
3.5 boinger.
It's all in the imagination in this movie. There's no skin. There's no revealing shots of anything. It's all imagination with Gina Davis and Alec.
Well, Miss
Baldwin,
Argentina
if that's
was.
your thing.
I thought she was kind of cute.
She was now
3.5.
The greenish
Gina-
makeup.
Gina Davis was she? She was pretty hot in like Thelma and Louise. Was she in that?
Yeah, she was
Yeah,
one of the
yeah.
car drivers. They're
Yeah.
going to go off the cliff
Mhm.
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
You took the high road there.
Yeah. I'm glad. Yeah, I didn't know where you're gonna go with that, but 3.5. That's
3.5.
that's low but respectable, like Zap said, and we'll take it. And yeah,
Thumbs up for the movie, though.
I think
Yes,
it's yeah,
for
absolutely,
sure.
absolutely. You
Very
guys,
good movie.
you guys have any other?
Maybe next month, Shallow can do like his Boing Fest top 3.
Yeah, the
like-
Boing Fest.
Boing Fest 2022.
I'm going to have a boing fest when I go
Featuring-
home.
Shallow.
But I don't know if we missed any facts on the movie. Like I said, we can go through the storyline, but there's really no need. I'm sure if you're listening
Yeah,
to this,
they know
you
this.
know the movie. We talked about the main parts, I think, and the facts I think are the most interesting part. I mean, I think so. Finding out little things about who could have been in it and where it was filmed. I don't know if we said about that, but it was supposed to take place in Connecticut, but it was actually filmed in Vermont, so it's not that far off.
It's a good little
But
fact.
the sets and all that, there was a sound stage in California, so much like Clue, they did a lot of that stuff on stages and stuff like that.
Okay.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah, again, it's
Another
just
good
over and
watch.
over, just a great movie.
hmm So I don't know what we're gonna be doing next week. Maybe Menace to Society.
Society.
I think I might be coming out. We'll have a guest on for that. Our buddy Ron. So he's knowledgeable about the area and all that. So he's gonna be a good one to have in. Shallow. We always appreciate having Shallow in the basement.
Yes, thank you,
doing our
Shallow.
announcing.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for coming on in.
That smooth voice of his.
Always room in the basement.
Batman's got his car. I got my voice.
That's right. Zap and Matt, as always.
Yes, thank you.
You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Old Dirty Basement and on TikTok at Old Dirty Basement Podcast. And I guess that's it. So we'll catch you where?
On the flip side.
If we don't see you sooner, we'll see you later.
Peace.